Shalom, men and brethren. This is another wonderful day. This is another beautiful morning devotional on this wonderful frequency radio voice of grace on FM 88.5 on this wonderful channel from where you're watching us live on the internet. I want to welcome you on this wonderful morning devotional, and I want to assure you of the best that you ever need to have. That is all that God has got to give us. Give us the best that we ever need to have. Men and brethren, I say to you, welcome. This beautiful morning, you are especially welcome to our wonderful morning devotional. We have been dealing with a particular topic, our series that we're looking at as the gospel or tradition. Having the series will begin through the gospel or tradition. And it's a good one, it's a beautiful one, it's a nice one to have. Beloved, it is the plan of God for me and you to be the best. Eventually, somehow we get corrupted by some men. Men who are so desperate, whatever is the desperation, God knows. They end up corrupting our ways. And then God, after they corrupt us, God will find a way to restore us back again. You remember, just like Adam corrupted his way. The Bible says man corrupted his way in the earth. The man that the Lord made and handed over the earth to finally corrupted his way. His ways become corrupted. So we have several times that people's ways are corrupted, and the biggest thing that they end up corrupting other people. When they are corrupted, they end up corrupting other people. So beloved, we have many times people's ways are corrupted. When I told you that the tradition is abhorred, in other words, it's not acceptable before God, and I mean it scripturally. I want to show you scripturally today what God has said about those who are strongly in tradition, how they now that God do not say for me and you. So now, beloved, let me take you to the book of Romans chapter 3. Romans chapter 3. Now look at Romans chapter 3. We're there directly, Romans chapter 3. I will take it from verse 10. Look what the Bible says. As it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. Now, who were the people God talking to? God is talking to the people, the pre-gospel people. And there are those who were existing long before the gospel even came to the world. And these people are purely people who are under tradition. They were governed, they were guided, they were led by tradition. And these are the people the Bible is talking about. These people were purely for tradition. And the Bible is saying that these people cannot be righteous. None of them is righteous, not one. But these people might be righteous among themselves, before themselves. But before God, not one of them is righteous. And that's the thing, that's the truth. And that's the truth that we must know. We don't have to seek for facts. We need the truth. They are not righteous. Not one of them is righteous. But look at these guys. They are all in tradition. But the Bible says not one of them is righteous. Now let's go on. The Bible says verse 11. There is none that understandeth. There is none that seeketh after God. That's the truth. The moment you are in tradition, you don't understand. You will not even seek after God. You do not understand, you do not seek after God. What you seek is something else. They don't seek after God. They are not seeking after God entirely. They are busy doing something else, not seeking after God. You know why? When you're in tradition, like I said to you the other day, you only end up seeking after men. You try to please men, try to make men feel good about you, and that is all. There is nothing that you could do for God. You only end up being there nice for men, but not for God. So these guys in tradition are doing something well for themselves. They seek after men, not after God. They are busy with men, they're not busy with God. And that's what the Bible is pointing out here. Verse 12 says, they are all gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Did you get it well? All of them have gone out of the way. They are not in the way. Traditional people cannot be in the way. When you are living traditionally, you can never be in the way of God. You only end up being out of the way. This Bible says, they are all gone out of the way. There is none that doeth good, none that understandeth God. No, not even one. All of them gone out of the way, none understanding God, none seeking after God. No, not even one. Think about that. None of them understand God. None of them seek after God. All of them have gone out of the way. Not even one understands. Not even one seek after God. Oh, beloved, that's exactly today on the earth. People do not seek after God. Say they are not worried about what God will say. They are not worried about how God will say what He will say. All that they care about is what people will say. If I do these things, what will people say? If I go this way, what will people say? How will they say it? This is exactly how people who are in tradition, the mentality, the traditional mentality, that's how it looks like. They ask questions of what people will say, how people will say it. They are worried about that. They do not care about what God will say. They do not care about how God will say what He will say. Beloved, this is exactly what we see by the day. And the Bible continue to talk. The verse 13 says, their throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongue they have used to it. The poison of asp is under their lips. Now, you don't expect them to say anything that is good. You don't expect them to say anything that is profitable. You don't expect them to say anything that is uplifting, that will bring some kind of revival. They don't say things that bring revival. They don't say things that bring upliftment, that make the souls to be on. They don't say it. When I talk about tradition here, I mean, it's not just the tradition that we meet our forefathers practicing. We have created so many traditions today in the churches. Various denominational we create tradition. When tradition never helped the people in the past. When tradition never helped our fathers, if you like, in the past, today the children have started creating tradition. That's a problem. We have people who are forming tradition here and there. They end up creating tradition for other people. They themselves knew that tradition never helped their fathers in the past. But today, they are forming tradition. They have to create it. In the church, they had to create, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. This is what people who were living before the gospel came were doing. And yet, they never pleased God. They did that, they lived that way, and they never pleased God. God had to send Jesus Christ to bring us the gospel because tradition never make us good before God. Jesus Christ came and brought us the gospel. Now that they brought the gospel, people do not want to stay with the gospel. They prefer to go back to the tradition. When already they know that tradition had never helped those who existed before the gospel came. But they still want to drag us back to it. Now, tradition is when you are living by the doctrine of men. when you're living by the teachings of men, the direction of men, you are doing that because you want them to applaud you, you want them to feel good about you, you want them to praise you. We have people who are living certain life today for other people because they do not want to be attacked. They do not want to be seen as wrong people, as unbelievers, as doing the wrong thing. On that note, what do? They have to live certain way in order to please certain people. That's the way they live their life. They live their life in slavery because they want to please certain people. They want them to feel good about them. Beloved, that is exactly how to live in tradition. Then let me go on. It's in Romans chapter 3, verse 4. Say, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their ways. Yes, these are people, they can curse and shout. Look at those people who claim to be living a certain way. They feel that they are better than every other person. They curse people. They are the ones that are not happy with themselves. They are the ones that easily attack people. These people are not happy with themselves. They attack people, they curse people, they are not just the kind of people that you see happy. They're not happy. And when somebody is not happy, you know what the person will do? The person can respond to you harshly. The person will be disrespectful. The person will not be kind to anybody because he himself is not happy with himself. This is exactly what we're seeing when men are in tradition. They are not happy with others. They attack every other person. They never get happy with anybody. So what do? They do? Attack people, show their displeasure, show their anger, show their bitterness. That's all they do. And this is what we see in traditional people. And a lot of the word of God do not want us to live in tradition. Because to live in tradition means to be bitter, means to carry malice in your hearts. Because people will offend you by the day. You also will offend people by the day because you're living to please them. As long as you're living to please people, you will end up pleasing some and becoming offense to others. Exactly what tradition is seeking to make us do. Exactly what the gospel wants us not to do. And the gospel being on the contrary, the gospel wants us to live for God. And when you want to live for God, you will learn to live contrary to the plan and ways of men. Yes, live contrary to the plan and ways of men and live in line with God's plans. How about that? Living for God's plan and living contrary to the plans of men. That is exactly the ultimate goal, the ultimate plan of God. But eventually, we don't seem to be willing to live that way. And that's exactly why we consistently are faced with problems. We are faced with problems consistently because we above the gospel. Is the power of God that brings salvation to those that believe. First to the Jews and also to the Greek. And I ask a question. Who are the Jews and who are the Greek? The Jews are those who receive tradition from God. Their tradition, they got it from God religiously. Who are the Greek? The Greek are those who got their own tradition from philosophers, also religiously. Now, this tradition from a prophet, from God's servant. They have tradition from Moses, the servant of God. This one have tradition from philosophers. Both of them, though they have tradition, the other one from man of God, the other one from philosophers, they all need salvation. In other words, both tradition you get from a man of God and the tradition that will handed over to you from a philosopher can still not save you. Even though it's from a man of God, cannot save you. Even though it's from a philosopher, can still not save you. The only thing that will save you is the gospel. And the gospel is not tradition. The gospel do not seek to promote a tradition. The gospel do not seek to beautify a tradition. What the gospel has come to do is to give life to us. That's what the gospel comes to do. That we may have life. And that in having this life, we may have it abundantly. Men and brethren, exactly what so many people will not want. When you tell them you need to have life, and to have this life, what you need is the gospel, not tradition. You need a gospel to have life, not tradition. Now let's go on verse 17 say, and the way of peace have they not known. There is no fear of God before their eyes. This is clear. The people who are in tradition only pretend to be fearing God, but never fear God. They don't even know the way of peace, because Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. And if you don't know Jesus Christ, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, how can you stay in peace? How can you stay on the track road of peace? How can you propagate peace when the Prince of Peace himself you have shun? When you shun the Prince of Peace, how do you ever think you're going to have peace? There is nothing wrong with your tradition. But there is something wrong when you try to impose your tradition on other people. There is something wrong when you try to make your tradition to be a means of salvation. Your tradition do not bring you closer to God. It only brings you closer to your own people. That's the truth. What our tradition does is to bring us closer to ourselves. Same thing goes to churches. When we are in our various denominations and various churches, that moment we have various traditions. Only bring us closer to our denomination. Talk to one another and live together. But it does not bring us closer to God. Tradition do not bring us closer to God, beloved. Not at all. It does not bring us closer to God. Tradition only takes us closer to ourselves. That's what the Bible says, the way of peace they have not known. You cannot know the way of peace dwelling in tradition. And going forward, verse 19. So Romans chapter 3, it says, now we know that what things soever the Lord said, he said to them who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before God. Period. Whatever your tradition is saying it to those who are under it. If your tradition tells you to go to the grave and pour libation to the dead, it says it to you who are under it. It has nothing to do with me. Your church tradition says to you that what you need is to your own tradition says to you that what you need is to dress a certain way in order to appear righteous. It says it to you who are under it. Don't stay in that corner where you are living under your tradition and start pointing finger at me that I'm far off from you. Are you catching it all? You don't have to do that way. But when you start doing that way, it means you are trying to impose your tradition on me. Unfortunately, you miss it that way. You cannot impose your tradition on anybody. Cannot do that. Tradition brings you closer to yourselves. It does not bring you closer to God. It brings you closer to yourselves. If you want to come closer to God, you do not need tradition. What you need is the gospel. Now, the verse 17 of Romans chapter 1 says, for therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith. In the gospel, it is in the gospel revealed. God's righteousness is revealed in the gospel. The Bible says, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. So if you want the gospel, can not make you for a Jewish tradition. And if walk with my own, your own is not correct, then you're joking, because I will tell you again that your own is not correct. But it wins. Men and brethren, to the gospel. Church dogmas is